Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly segment of Real Reds Talk news show. As always, I have my co-anchor man, Daniel Raj, with me today. How are you, Dan?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Nick. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. I'm good. Thank you for asking. A lot of stuff to dig into, so I don't want to waste any time. Let's just dive straight into it, Dan. If you want to start us off with the first article.
Yeah, so sure. So we have loads of articles to be read out today. So stick with us, guys. So the very first one is it's come up from where Wayne Rooney spoke to Monday Night Football, and he spoke a lot of stuff there. So we'll pick up one by one there. So the very first thing he mentioned about when he was asked who he'd rather choose between Ten Hag and Pochettino, and he answered. And he said, like, if I'm choosing from one of them two, I'd go with Pochettino. And yeah, I can see why he's going for Pochettino, because Pochettino in his CV, even for the reason Rooney mentioned that he already has the experience of coaching in the Premier League, and also he knows how Premier League works. Yeah, I can understand what Rooney meant by that, but at the same time, this shouldn't be the only consideration point, because there have been so many managers who have managed us, like Moyes and even Mourinho. When he was in Chelsea, he was a very good manager. So there are lots of managers who can be a hit in other clubs, but then again be a flop in our club, because our club is something different. So the issues we have are totally different, and the Premier League experience will not count there when you are trying to manage Manchester United there. And so yeah, I can understand why he said that, but at the same time, it should not be the only consideration. Yeah, what are your thoughts about that, Nick?
It surprised me actually, because I thought Rooney was better than this, if I'm being honest. It seems like a lot of ex-players and pundits are going with Poch, and maybe it's because it's either they've played against him or they've spoken to other players in like the England camp, for example, who have played with him. So there's a bit of bias there, but with Ten Hag being in another league in Europe, he's more respected in that aspect. And I think pretty much every pundit that comes out on national television, they're always swaying towards Poch. I don't get what it is. I don't understand. Like, exactly. We know he did a decent job with Southampton and Spurs on a shoestring budget. But since he's moved to PSG, which is essentially like a mirror of us, I think, like the way we've got all them big egos he's had to handle, it's pretty much identical to the issues that we have. So what difference is he going to make if he comes over? That's the question I ask. But yeah, and another comment that Rooney's said as well, that he said quite a few last night, which got a few United fans riled up, because obviously he's a club legend. So anything he says sort of against him or against a fan's opinion, people are kind of like, whoa. But yeah, so Rooney's come out, and this is about Harry Maguire, Dan. So he said, I like Harry Maguire. He hasn't been in his best form this season, like a lot of players. And then you look at England, he goes to play for England and looks like a world-class centre-back. A lot of it is confidence. So this is what Rooney said, right? And again, another piece of weird analysis from Rooney, because I'd say Maguire's played very well for England in a pragmatic setup, like where he's protected a lot more. Similar thing, I always say Southgate's like Ollie 2.0, because they play very, very pragmatic. Even with all the attacking talent they've got at England, he's still plays very defensive. Sometimes a back five, and it's strange. So in that aspect, Maguire's protected a lot more. He's played more poor games for United than good for me, especially this season. I always say he's been at fault for about 16 goals individually or collectively. He drags the team of confidence because they can't rely on him, and he's a liability in big games. So this British bias with ex-players and pundits is a joke, and I haven't seen one person apart from Roy Keane really call Maguire out for his performances this season. Like, if someone like, I don't know, let's for an example, like Pogba or someone who usually gets targeted was putting in performances like Maguire has been doing this year, he will get absolutely slaughtered. Absolutely slaughtered. But yeah, just your thoughts on them comments, Dan.
Yeah, as you mentioned that when he plays for England, he's more protected, because with the players like Declan Rice and alongside the other players, the defenders protecting him, and he cannot, whenever he does a mistake, he'll be covered up, and there are players who can take care of that. But when it comes to United, when you are the last line of defense, and when you are when you are crossed, then there's no one else to protect you back. But
Exactly.
at the same time, you can understand, you can see that he's a bit protecting Maguire, but at the same time, I want everyone to just analyze the thing as it is. Let's call a spade, and when he performs well, we have appreciated him. Even in last game when he was a bit decent as compared to previous games, we have also said that in our previous shows that he was not the bad ones, but he was one of the good as compared to all the other players. So at the same time, you can see, but recently I've seen that when he mentions that he's playing good in the internationals, I can see there was a bit tweak that was done in his positioning, because now on he is playing a bit on the right centre back role. Even for England, I think last couple of games he also was playing towards the right side, and which also the Ragnick also tried the same thing for United in the last game. So it is bit working out, but then again it comes down to the confidence level. So because his confidence level is not the same as it was in the last season when he was playing alongside Lindelof, and I also personally feel that with the incoming of Varane, his confidence level has bit dropped down, because when you are the captain of the club and you see a better top level defender playing alongside you, then definitely his confidence level will be shaken up. So that could be one of the slight reason for his dip in performance. But we know that he's not a great defender. But always we have said that just play your basics right. That will make you a better player.
Just one more point on that, Dan, before you get into the next article. I think Ronaldo coming in as well has had a massive effect on him. Because he's kind of, I think Maguire feels like he's been undermined by Ronaldo. The trophies he's won, everything he's done in Europe. He's obviously one of the greatest players to ever step foot on a pitch. And Maguire will probably feel like that's the level I need to be playing at every single game to be a United captain. And he's just nowhere near that. So, everything you're saying is spot on, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. So we move on to the next one. So then when Rooney was asked about Pogba, and he said that it's got to a point now that it's better to move on. If Paul is honest with himself, he's not had the impact he would have liked at Manchester United. And he's true in saying that. I have no doubt on whatever Rooney mentioned that. And I also feel that it will not work out anymore for Pogba to stay here, because it has already been a long time, and he has not been consistent. We have seen what ability he has, but it's all about the consistency. And at the time, we can also see that he is not that much dedicated to the club, that he will sacrifice playing Champions League for this club, because next season we won't be in Champions League most probably, how the things are going right now. But I don't think he will. He has already came out and said that he's trophyless for last 5 years, and I don't think he will spend another year without playing Champions League. But we know that he's capable of. But on support, a bit support for Pogba is that we have seen that he's playing good in France, and when he plays for France, and he played alongside a proper center defensive midfielder like Kante, and now these days he's playing alongside Tchouaméni. And that opportunity, I don't think we have hardly provided him. Maybe a couple of years back when he played alongside Matic, he was playing good. But now in later stages of his last couple of years, we have not seen any. We have not given an opportunity for him to play alongside a proper, strong center defensive midfielder. So that's one of the point I can give in favor of Pogba.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you, Dan, with this. I actually agree with this bit of analysis from Rooney. Pogba's been here for 5 years now. It hasn't worked out. His agent hasn't stopped mouthing off since he's joined. Week in, week out, it's will Pogba go? Will Pogba stay? He's been inconsistent, but then brilliant in periods. He's had 2 seasons worth of injuries during a 5-year period, and he hasn't justified his price tag. So really, if you put that in a list of things, you're doing pros and cons with Pogba, I doubt there's a lot of people who would say, I wish he'd stay for another 5 years on 400 grand a week. Like, I don't see the benefit in both sides for that, because we're not getting what we thought out of him, £90 million. Pogba isn't getting what he wanted, coming back, winning trophies, all this kind of stuff. So surely the easy option is just cut your losses. You let him go in a free anyway. because you won't sign him up. You let him go on a free to Juventus, then you pay £90 million to get him back, and then he's going on a free again. And that again just highlights the recruitment. We was talking about this last night. It highlights the incompetence of the board. To have a situation like this now, where we've got quite a few players, going into the last even Lingard's a similar situation. Like, why didn't we let Lingard go in the summer? It made no sense at all. Let him go. We played really well for West Ham. He had a good 6-month period. Sell him in the summer. Take, 20, 30 million, whatever you can for him. And Pogba, we should have sold. He's been mouthing off with his agent for years, absolutely years, flirting with Madrid, Juventus, PSG, all these clubs. Just let him go, for God's sake. And then that's a weight off our shoulders, I think, because that's not something we're going to be talking about every single week. And it's headline news. Anyone who mentions Paul Pogba's name gets clicks. It's like Ronaldo. We know that. And it falls back to the market in the branding of these players, that the big superstars in world football. And I'm happy to have him off the books, to be completely honest. So
to add on last point here about Pogba is that now when we see that even Ragnick wants to play a high energy level of games, and he wants his players to just track back and maintain that energy level while even when you're off the ball. But I don't see this thing coming from Pogba. So it could be a good thing just to let him go and instead use maybe Donny van de Beek when he comes back, because we know that Donny van de Beek can do that job of defending when we are not in the position.
Well, that's absolutely spot on, Dan, because I remember Ragnick, he came out with his quotes recently that we've discussed, and he said about there's a certain profile of player that he wants, like a physical. He said, we've got enough technical players. We haven't just got physical and aggressive, and Pogba isn't that at all. He lacks defensive discipline. And he's not the only one. This isn't a witch hunt on Pogba, but obviously this is speaking about Pogba's article specifically. He lacks defensive discipline for me. He gets caught quite a lot on transition. He needs that experienced figurehead next to him. I remember Paul Scholes saying this. He needs, like, when he was at Juventus, he had Vidal and Pirlo next to him, guiding him through the game. At United, who's the guy that's doing that in midfield? We haven't got one. So, it's both sides for me. You look at it, we're at fault for some of the things, but Pogba's at fault for some of the things himself. And let's just cut our ties and let him go. So, another article I wanted to get into, Dan. It's come out. Ten Hag believes Van Persie's knowledge of United would be invaluable if they decide to appoint him at the end of the season. We're also hearing that Steve McLaren could be an option as well. But just focusing solely on Van Persie being a potential candidate. I've mentioned this before, and I don't agree personally. I don't know what you think, Dan, but I don't agree personally with the common opinion that we should avoid ex-players at all costs. For me, if they have the right CV and have the right chemistry with the manager, it can work. People like Goldbridge have been praising the likes of Arteta, who was an assistant to Pep at City, and he's done he's done a relatively good job at Arsenal at the moment, with all things considered. I know they got battered last night by Palace 3-0, but apart from that, he's implemented a style of play. He's got rid of the toxic players, and he's got the young players playing really well. And that was a former assistant at City. So you look at ex-players in general, I think I've said this to you before, Dan, but Xavi at Barcelona, Zidane at Real Madrid, it can work. It just depends if it's the right. I'm not saying go get any ex-player who's passionate about the club, because that won't work. But there will be appointments out there with players who have got coaching badges, who have previously been at United and have the experience to work alongside a Ten Hag or something like that. I don't know what your thoughts are on this.
Even I felt so that it was a bit unusual for us, but even I felt also very bad when his name was linked with being an assistant coach for Eric Ten Hag, and even Ten Hag wants him to come in. But at the same time, when he mentioned, it was mentioned that Eric Ten Hag was saying that Van Persie's knowledge of Van Persie's knowledge of United would be invaluable, and I don't think that this should be a deciding factor when you appoint an assistant manager. And you have so many people, so many players, ex-players who have more knowledge than Van Persie, but you cannot hire them and keep aside a manager who wants to do something. But at the same time, you want a person who has a very good managing knowledge or managing abilities rather than playing abilities. I know that Van Persie, he's a very good player, but at the same time, it's all about the managing. It's not about playing. It's about managing. But at the same time, we cannot count him off. He can just prove himself. Maybe he has just started. I think it's only a couple of years he has been into this managing role. And he started his career as an assistant coach when he last played in the team. But now I think he has to prove himself. Maybe a couple of 2 to 3 years more. Then we can maybe speak about that. But at the very beginning of his career, I would say that let's keep us away from such persons who wants to manage Manchester United. Even Rooney also mentioned that he is willing, but he himself knows that he wants to give himself some time to be consider himself as capable of managing United. So we need to maintain our distance from these type of people, at least for this manager role.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I agree with you on that, to be fair. 100%.
Yeah. And the next news is again about Erik ten Hag. So we are all around Erik ten Hag from the last 1 month, and we'll be around Erik ten Hag maybe until he's announced. Yeah. So this one is from Jonathan Schrager. He mentioned that nothing is finalized nor imminent necessarily, but conversations are currently going well between Manchester United and Erik ten Hag. And the same things we have been hearing from a lot of sources, and probably hearing from maybe a month now regularly. Each and every day there is a news saying something like that. We are very close to Ten Hag, but we know that it's now become a two-horse race with Ten Hag and Pochettino, and it's like arm wrestling going on between Ten Hag and Pochettino, and now it seems like Ten Hag is winning that game. But at the same time, I still have a feeling that even though Ten Hag might have been the deal might have been completed, but still United may not officially announce that, considering he is still there with a contract with Ajax, and they are in a very crunch moment of the career. They are pushing for the title, and in this very moment, even Ajax will not like someone to announce their manager and just rail them off from that path. So even Erik ten Hag would be respectful for his club, but I think the most probably will be getting Ten Hag, and I'm very happy with that because I know that he can do a better job than Pochettino. Yeah,
I feel like I'm looking at it as like you said, like a two-horse race, right? And so say this is Ten Hag here. He's about to win the race, and we've got Poch's horse here, right? I feel like you're going to have the Glazers come behind and give the horse a big push up the arse until he gets level, and then Poch is going to nick it last minute, and they're going to be like, oh, Poch is our manager now. He's going into the summer. Like, there's still something there in the water. I know Ten Hag is the favourite. And I know more and more reports coming out suggesting he will be the man, as we discussed last night, Dan. I'm just still a bit sceptical.
Go on. Yeah. Also, adding on to the voices, the big voices like Wayne Rooney and Alex Ferguson can play a key role in this because they all want Poch to come in.
And just like our transfer business as well, we're notoriously slow at everything we do and get a lot of things wrong. Yeah. So based on that alone, I'm still on the fence on this one until I see Ten Hag at Old Trafford with it. Well, it doesn't have to have a United shirt on, but until I see him at Old Trafford, I won't smile. I'm trying to not get ahead of myself. It looks like the wind's swaying towards that way, as we keep saying. Like, it's developing day in, day out now, which is another article we've got here. But it seems like he's going to be the man. Fingers crossed. So let's just see what happens with that one. And if he does come over, this is the article we want to get into now. He wants to bring a centre-back, Jurrien Timber, who plays for Ajax. He wants to bring him to Manchester United, a quality centre-back. I've mentioned him again a few times on the show, watched him in the Champions League a few times. His technique, confidence and composure, Dan, for such a young centre-back when he's playing in like massive competitions like the Champions League is outstanding. And someone like that alongside Varane, for me, would be a tasty partnership. Like, fuck Barry Maguire off. Put him on the bench, use him as a squad player, I don't care. You cut your losses with him as well because you're not going to get the money back you paid for him. So bringing in someone like that Timber, he looks really promising, like extremely promising. So if Ten Hag can bring over someone like that and maybe an Anthony or someone like that, would be two really good players to get in. So
Yeah, I think he's one of the players like he has a very high potential, and he's one of the players like we have Varane in his 20s, and also the players who are at very high in the market at the moment. Our defender from Barcelona, Arujo, what you call it, how we call it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Arujo, and from Real Madrid, Militao. So I can keep this player Julian with these type of players. So yeah, definitely it will be a very good negotiations. But yeah, at the same time we know that how our club runs when it comes to transfer and getting such type of players, the creamy players.
Sorry to put you in there, Dan, but I feel like that's why Ten Hag, when he had his interview, was specifically saying, like, I want to have control in the transfer window, everywhere throughout the club. He needs his control in order to implement his philosophy fully. Like, Pep's had full control at City pretty much. Had anyone he wants to buy. I'm not saying go do that, but they need that control in order for it to work. And if United don't allow that, which we've seen with previous managers, then it could get a bit messy.
Yeah, this is one of the fear for me also, because you see that when Ragnick was coming in, even there was talks that Ragnick wants full control of the club, but now we see that he hardly has a control over it. But yeah, exactly. It's like maybe the next manager will be told that you will get the control, but at the end of the day, then again you will see Glazers making all the decisions.
Exactly, Dan. Exactly.
Yeah, and moving on to
Rashford one.
Next one. Yeah. So the next news is finally we are moving to some other things. Yeah. So this was about Marcus Rashford, and Mark Ogden. He says that over the past 12 months, United have attempted to persuade Rashford to reduce his off-field work for good causes in order to focus more on regaining his best form. But so far, he has chosen to maintain his twin-track approach. I would be but I have a very different opinion on this particular news, and I don't think that his off track or the side whatever he does away from football should be considered in his performance, because you cannot question someone. Maybe if he is doing something such type of things in when even at his work time or his the time of training, that then I can consider. But whenever the training is ended, when he goes back home and whatever he does, it is up to him and nobody can question that. But yeah, his performance cannot be questioned on based or maybe analyzed or judged according to his off-field works, whatever he performs, because even last year he was playing good, and with the injury he was playing very good, and he was one of the key players for United and scoring so many goals. And in that time also he was doing all these things, the side part, the good works he always does. So it doesn't make sense now when he is not in form. We can target that portion of his life. But yeah, on the same thing, I also think that his dip in form could be because maybe recently he's being asked to play in a different position, and also similar to what happened to Maguire with the incoming of Varane. I also believe, or I also feel that maybe with the incoming of Sancho also might have affected his confidence level, because now Sancho has taken a spotlight with his performance, and now so now his Rashford's position is being taken by Sancho. But yeah, we are benefiting from Sancho, but at the same time for Rashford, he has to compensate on his position when where his favorite position was left. Now he's asked to play on the right side, and now when we have Elanga, he's now on the bench. So I think it's all about his confidence level and also his decision making, because it has always been poor. Even though he plays well, and at the end of every play, he just make a wrong decision, and that all vanishes his attempt. And you just imagine in some of the games, he is just one pass away from getting an assist, and he tries to shoot it and everything is gone. If he gives one or couple of assists in a game, then you see that he will be like a man of the match performance. He will be considered as a man of the match. But yeah, his decision making has always been a concern for me.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford's a lot better. It's a good point you make. Marcus Rashford's a lot better off the cuff when he doesn't have to think about things. That's why he was so good for Ole, because when he was counter-attacking, it's within 10 seconds, you're at the other end of the pitch, all you've got to do is finish then. When you play a more build-up style, you've got a low block in front of you, he struggles because he runs into blind alleyways, he gets surrounded by 3-4 players, and then he makes the wrong decision on top of that. So it's not great. And the point you make about James Sancho as well is great, because Sancho coming in, we all thought we were going to have a right winger then for the next 5-6 years. And then he goes and plays on the left-hand side, and then he's flourishing there now. So like, are we have to buy another right winger? Crazy. And obviously the left-hand position is what Marcus has said before, that is his favoured one. So yeah, I can see that definitely having a knock-on effect. And in the situation in general, I'm not sure how I feel about this, because I think you can keep two things separate and work on them both. At 100%, I agree with that. But sometimes maybe things like this, there's a potential for it to distract him. I'm not saying it definitely is, but I think there could be a potential for it to distract him. I mean, no, if you're not at, even if it's distracting you by 1%, if you're not at it 100% in the Premier League, you will get found out. Like, your dedication and commitment has to be there. And in the same breath, though, I'm saying like the work he's doing off the pitch, don't stop that. Continue doing that, because I feel like that's ultimately, for me, it's more important the work he's doing off there. I want him to succeed as a United player. I want him to do really well, and I want him to train hard and all this kind of stuff. But the work he's doing off the pitch to feed children and stuff like that is phenomenal. So it's a weird one. Like, I find it hard to analyze that, because then you kind of, your pure heart comes into it. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like a football based thing. It's something else. So it's a tough one, that. Another article here that's based on more like as a team. According to sources, United players have long been unhappy with the lack of top-class coaching at the club. To be honest, I couldn't give a fuck what the players think. Like, they are in no position to be suggesting to the board who should be in charge, because all they're doing is thinking about their own careers and what's best for them. So these players have threw managers under the bus before. Roy Keane famously said that. And they never take accountability for their own actions. So if they're unhappy, leave the club. Simple as. I don't care. They should have absolutely no influence. Like, where has that got us in the past 8-10 years, whatever it's been? When players are overruling the likes of Pogba, Lingard, speaking to the board and stuff, like, it's got us nowhere. So even like a player like we just discussed, then Dan, Marcus Rashford has a heavy influence in that team, because United know, in terms of marketing and what he does outside the thing, brings all positive media and stuff to their club. So they have an advantage with that, and that has a knock-on effect when a manager has selections, which we've seen with Maguire before, and we've seen with Rashford. Like, there's a bias there. So for me, I don't care. I don't give a fuck what the players think. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I think the club has to change their attitude of considering whatever the player is saying. So you should never consider or let the player have the final say about their manager, because it's the club who decides the manager. It's not the players who decide the managers, and the players have to buy into the manager's philosophy and his mission and vision. Yeah. So I don't think they're saying about the top class coaching, because it doesn't matter whether you have a top class coach or a coach who is at his early stage of his career, but at the same time you have to buy into what the coach wants you to do. And it's not like we didn't had the top level coaches after Ferguson. We had coaches like Mourinho and Van Gaal. Van Gaal was also a good coach at that time. When he came to United, he was one of the top coaches at that time. And even Mourinho was one of the top coaches.
Champions League winners, Dan, both of them.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't make sense when they say that they want top class coaching, because they already had it, and they haven't performed it, and they haven't behaved well even under those type of coaches. Then why not? I really like about Ragnick is that he's true to the coach, true to the club, and he's so transparent about the issues going on and the way he deals. So if the players are not considering Ragnick as their coach, it's not something about doing with your brain, but your heart has to be given to your coach, and allow yourself towards coach philosophy. And this is something this has to change. As you said, that whoever don't wants the coach or some kind of coach, or who wants to make the decisions on the coach, yeah, the door is open. He can leave, and that will be good for us for the coming near future.
100%. Next one on. Do you want to take us into the article about Luke Shaw and Fred, Dan?
Yeah, so this was from Ekram Kornor, if I'm not pronouncing
It's a tough one.
wrong.
It's a tough one.
So,
Ekram Kornor, I think it is. I'm guessing. I have no idea myself.
Yeah, so he mentions that Manchester United plan to extend the contract of Luke Shaw and Fred until 2025, and I still consider Fred as an important player for the club. I know that he's not the level of what Manchester United need, but still he's an important player for us, and in the future maybe can be a very important player coming on from the bench. And also for Luke Shaw, and we are privileged to have the two left backs who are decent left backs, and who are also having the different style of play, where Luke Shaw is like a balanced left back who is balanced towards attacking as well as defending, and Telles, he is more of an attacking player, so we can adjust according to the situation. When you want to score a goal, you can bring on Telles and have him do some effect, change the game. But at the same time, Fred can be a very good team player, very important player with the rotation. When you imagine him being on the bench, and you know that when you are winning the game and you want some defending to do, or you want some running around to do, then Fred should be your first call on the bench. At that point, you will not care whether whatever he does with the ball, but you want him to just run around like a dog here and there and just catch the ball and do the challenges. So do the tackles and all. So he's a very important player, and I also want them to get this deal done as soon as possible, because we don't want it to be dragged till the summer and spend your time, summer transfer time in on making those contract extensions.
Yeah, I feel like if you would have asked me this question, a year ago or something, I would have been like, absolutely not, no chance give Fred an extension, because he was being played in that pivot position, as we know, couldn't play that defensive midfielder, couldn't take it off the back four. I was saying this to my mate before on Opposition Opinion, which is out tomorrow, so check that out tomorrow. But I was saying to him with Fred, since Ralph's deployed him in the same position that he plays for Brazil, he's looked so much better. Can get about the pitch, doesn't have to necessarily worry about defensive actions as much, can do his thing, and on the ball he's looked like Cruyff at times. Some of the shit he's doing, some of the skills he's pulling out is just unbelievable. So for Fred in particular, if he continues that, I'm happy to sign him up for another contract, but I don't think he's warranted it just yet. I think 6 months of game time where he's played well and he's been one of the most improved players under Rangnick, it's great, but it depends how long of it's an extension in it. So it's one of them. I wouldn't be mega against it, but I'm not mega for it either. In terms of Luke Shaw, I said on the keep or sell, I'd give Luke Shaw 1 more year to see how it goes. And if he can get back into that form he did last year, which is maybe hoping, I don't mind extending the contract. It's just whether he can or not. Like, he's had 8 years here, similar to Martial, and he's had 1 or 2 good seasons, like really good seasons I'm talking about, where he's been like performed at the highest level, like one of the best in the league. So if he can get back into that, it's just, I don't know if I believe he can get back into that form and then sustain it when he's in that, like for the next 4 years. Realistically, if I was to put money on it and say, can he get up to the level he was last year and then do that for another 3-4 years, I don't think he will. Honestly, I don't think he will. So then we might be in a situation like we could maybe reference this video down in a year's time when we're doing a news show. And then if Luke Shaw could be putting in stinkers and not be in the team like Wan-Bissaka, and we're sat here saying, well, yeah, do you know what I mean? So it can go one or two ways.
His injury also has come back now. So we have seen that the last match when he was injured, it was something which was his last year surgery, which has come up now again. That issue was related to the same surgery which he had before. So it won't surprise us if he even in the next coming years he will be injured more. So that's a risk in that area.
I think the fact that he had such a good season last year, and then he scored in the final of the Euros, like his level was like, his ceiling was there, and he was like playing phenomenal. Got in team of I'm sure he got team of the season as well, because I think Spinazzola got injured for Italy, so he may have been in it. But I think Maguire and Shaw got not team of the season, team of the tournament, sorry, for the Euro. So he hit his absolute peak there, and then both of them are just absolutely crumbled this season. So I'm sort of holding my horses a little bit on Luke Shaw at the minute. But yeah, a manager who actually likes Luke Shaw, who's spoken about him fondly a lot of times and praised his abilities, Mauricio Pochettino, and he's come out recently and said, I am not discussing my future with the club as of now. I have 1 year left on my contract and we need to analyse the situation before making a decision. Seems a little bit sketchy to me. That doesn't sound like a confident manager, to be honest. So still seems like the door is open for Poch, as we was discussing before, Dan. And nothing is signed, sealed or delivered yet. I guess a lot is on what PSG decide to do. And maybe that's why United are still sitting on it at the moment. Who knows? Like, that's probably my guess. But I just hope we don't go with him because the fan base are going to lose their shit. If they find out, if that got announced tomorrow, can you imagine the backlash? Like, everybody knows the fans want Poch. The fans want Ten Hag. Ten Hag wants United, and it seems like United. A lot of people above at United want Ten Hag as well, with a few people thinking Poch is still the man. So if they go get Pochettino now, that is such a United decision to make, and I think they know that, and I think they know the backlash they're going to get. But it seems like they're just waiting for something. I don't know what it is. Like, more and more reports coming out. This like the stuff we're talking about, but something in the air for me still. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, that only shows that how incompetent our board is, and our board do not have any idea what to do about this. Because when you know that the manager is willing to come and you want that manager to come in, and even the fans likes that manager, and all the sides are clear, then why you are going for some other candidates? And with Pochettino, maybe he might have been he might have managed well in Southampton and Tottenham, but at this moment with PSG, who have the similar issues what we have, and he has not performed well as a manager there. And you just consider that even though PSG wouldn't have any manager in their team, the players they have, they still can play at the same level because they have so much great players. So it just shows that the manager was unable to make any difference in that team. So I'm fearing that that similar case could be with us when he comes to our team, and the egos that we already have, and but at the same time with the quotes that Pochettino has mentioned, that even I think he is also feeling that Ten Hag is a preferred one. So he's still keeping his door open and saying to United that I'm still available. Yeah. So the tricky one there. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt your head, Dan, but it feels like for me, the Poch situation is like, if you've got a girlfriend and she tells you that is that guy not to worry about, that's what I feel like Poch is at the minute. And you're constantly asking her, you're like, who's that guy? Why do you keep going out with him and stuff like that? It's like, oh, don't worry about him. He's just a friend.
Just a friend.
Yeah. He stays over sometimes. He's a nice guy. You know, we really get on well. I've known his family for years. Like, that is the Poch situation right now. And that's why I'm still skeptical.
And then,
and then the bed. Go on, sorry.
and then the boyfriend sees the marriage invitation of that friend and the girl.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel it's going at the minute. Like, United are going to jump into bed with Poch, but yeah, I suppose it's yet to be seen. I imagine we will find out some solid news within the next week or so. I'm sure of it, because it seems to be like creeping even more so.
Yeah. So here's the one of the last of the evening, but not of the week. There's a link to a defender. It was mentioned by BVB news blog by Berger PJ, and he mentioned that Manuel Akanji, he was linked to Manchester United and has said he would like to take the next step and is considering a move to England. And whenever any player is, whenever it was said that any player was linked to and he wants to come to England, then the very first club will be linked with the Manchester United. And at the same time, Akanji was also linked to us. Maybe I think it was, if I'm not wrong, it was in last summer also we were linked to him at some point. There was rumors. And on side of the player is actually a highly rated player, and even I personally rate him very high, and he's still 26 and can give us around 4 to 5 top solid 5 years minimum, because for a center back 31 is a decent year. And his contract expires in the year of 23 and June, and definitely that is one of the reason why he wants to leave, and even the club will let him to go. And considering his ability and his performance and the age, he will be available for around 30 million, and it's very cheap for such type of player. And but yeah, considering all the positives, here is one negative there, that recently in this year he's become injury prone. And in last December he was out for 1 month, and from February mid to March mid he was out for another 1 month. So he missed almost like 8 games for the season. So it could be a bit risky, but at 30 million for a defender of that level would be a steal deal. But yeah, if he comes in, I believe that we can maybe go back to back three with Maguire, Varane, and Akanji, because Akanji can play in both the centre back roles, and he can be a very good addition to that back three. Because also Maguire, also you can get a better of Maguire when you play as a back three. So yeah, it could be a good addition, but at the same time you have so many defenders with Bailly and Lindelof. So then the question arises that who will be leaving the club. You cannot have 5 to 6 centre backs who are the starting centre backs in any other clubs.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of this player in particular, but for the price it's being quoted, I think it's like 13 to 20 million along the lines of that.
Yeah.
It's not a massive risk, is it? Like, we spent 15 million on Dan James, so we could do worse. He's done relatively well for Dortmund whilst he's been there, and could be good cover for when we see Bailly leave. So I'm not completely against it. Obviously, we know with Bailly, he's not very reliable. He has his injury issues. Akanji could come in and he could do that role, and even if he shows, puts in really good performances, could, rise up to the top partnership, I'd say, next to Varane or whatever. So it's potential for him to move to take that next step, take that next level, or it could just become a really good, solid squad player when we're playing games in Europe, and maybe at this stage the Europa League, Conference League. But yeah, it still could be a good option. And as long as Ralph has recommended him, then I'm absolutely there. I'm fine with it. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. It's a name that's floating about quite a lot at the minute. I'm seeing a lot of German outlets pushing this. So whether it's more the club that are pushing it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Nick, regarding, we have seen so many players linked to us, so many centre backs linked to us, but do you think that we will be selling any centre backs, considering Lindelof or Bailly?
I don't think we'll sell Lindelof. I think Lindelof will be there or thereabouts, especially next season. I think there's an opportunity for Bailly to go. It's just who comes in for him. I know there was a link with AC Milan in January, and a few people thought he was going to go there. And if we can get 10, 15 million for him, because that's all we're going to get, because as I said, his injury issues, no one's going to pay over 20 million for him. I'd be very surprised if they do. Phil Jones maybe might go. Like, he's been here that long. He's like a part of the carpet now. It's like a part of the furniture. You just completely forget he's here. So maybe Phil Jones will go on loan somewhere, and then there's maybe an opportunity for Bailly to go. But I think that's the only way we'll bring in someone like an Akanji if Bailly goes. I don't think we'll have Akanji, Bailly, Lindelof, Varane, and Maguire and Phil Jones. It's just it'll be too many centre backs. So yeah, I'd say Bailly's probably got the best opportunity of leaving if the right club comes in for him. But yeah, that if there's anything else to add on that, Dan?
Yeah, just a bonus news which I saw just before coming live here. So it was a crazy rumor that Mbappe was linked to Manchester United.
I'm done. He's never coming to Manchester United. You cannot put him in the Europa Conference League. Could you imagine? Oh, don't get me wrong. I would love him at United. He's one of them players. He's a proper United player, like dynamic, can run in behind, electric pace, got a really good finish, can finish on both feet, dribble past a man. So he'd be absolutely perfect. But if we was to do a list of teams that I'd go to, we'd probably be like 20th on it, I imagine, or something. Like, we'd be really far down. So yeah, I think they're in a bit of a cat and mouse thing with PSG and Madrid at the minute. Like, both teams really don't like each other because of the way Madrid's approached the Mbappe situation. But ultimately, I think he'll end up at Madrid with Benzema. I'm not sure if you have you seen Benzema's comments on Mbappe.
Yeah. He said
Yeah.
like he likes to play with him at club level. Yeah.
Yeah. So flirting with it a lot. I think he's going to go Madrid.
Yeah, for
but
sure. And then the question will arise that where Haaland will go. Erling Haaland.
Probably City. I reckon he'll end up at City.
Oh.
And we'll end up with a younger striker like a Jonathan David or Darwin Núñez. I hope we sign someone like that, because we need to find the position that we're in at the minute. We need to find the next big striker, the next Mbappe, the next Haaland, because we ain't paying 200 million. Well, we probably would, but they ain't signing for us. So yeah. And that, guys, is the Real Reds Talk news roundup completed. Let us know in the comment section what you think of the articles we just mentioned and whether you agree with us or not. Also, if you can, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more regular content like this. And thank you to my anchorman for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And don't forget, tomorrow evening, we will have an Everton fan on to discuss the upcoming fixture on Saturday, where Manchester United take on Everton at Goodison Park. So be sure to tune in for that, and we will see you in the next one, guys. Thank you very much for joining me, Dan. I'll speak to you later on.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.